In this video, we're going to talk about how to address the problem with the radius in the bottom of your fiberglass shower that the frame will not let you fit. As you can see here that the frame clearly is going to have to be radiused a little bit. When we set the side rail on it as well, you can see both of them are going to actually have to be radiused a little bit after we get the length set. So how do we determine the size of that radius and how much we need to grind off? Well, I just grabbed some things around the house. First couple things to grab that are easy, just a couple of coins. You can see that one's too small. Here's a nickel. It actually a little bit too small as well. About anything will work. This one happens to be a quarter. That actually looks like it fits fairly well. I'm going to set that one there. Anything round, if you have a bigger one, something like a little roll of tape will work to determine what radius that is. So this is the one we're going to use because that fits our shower corner the best. Now we're going to mark the rails, both the side and the bottom rail, and we're just going to hand set them together and then set the quarter, which we determined was the size of our radius on our fiberglass shower. We're just going to kind of set it in the corner so that it just barely touches this edge and this edge. And then we're going to mark down right here the tangency point of that edge. And the same thing on this one. Now if you notice, I'm using two different rails, just colored rails, so you can determine, easily see that this is the bottom rail and this is the side rail. Once I've got those marked, I also want to just trace out the radius here a little bit, but we're going to use the tangency points as much as anything. So now that we have it marked, we're going to use this and just draw this line straight down across here. And then we're going to transfer this line across to this side. And we'll draw in a radius here. We can put the quarter in there if you want, or you can just kind of hand sketch in the radius. So that's how much we want to cut off on the side rail. The bottom rail, we can actually put this back in here again and trace on this side where we need to cut and where we need to remove material. We're going to transfer this line across to this side. And then if there's a possibility, depending on how far out it goes, you can mark this one across as well. And then you can just simply sketch in about how much of the radius you need to cut on this side. And this is all going to be within inside the side rail. So if you take off a little bit too much off this, it's not going to bother so much. Now you can see that we have the radius marked on both parts, and what we're going to do is now grind off a little bit on each corner to make sure that they match. So you can see here I'm using a belt grinder. Any type of sanding tool will work, whether it be a hand belt grinder, a vibrating sander, or even a file could be used to round off these corners. Now that we have our pieces ground off, we're going to actually take and just double check and dry fit everything, see how close we fit. And you can see it actually looks like we're fitting pretty good. There's a little bit of gap back here, but that's due to the fact that the fiberglass tub or shower is not perfectly straight and flat. So here's the frame we just finished. As you can see, it's radiused about maybe 3/4 of an inch. This is one that I did earlier just to see how far we could go with the radius. As you can see, this is about a 2-inch radius, or 2-inch diameter, 1-inch radius, and there's still plenty of room for the screw. This is one I actually made with the roll of tape that I showed earlier in the video.